Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I know the title of this video is an eye roll meme that I have leaned into hard because I sort of started it as a mock of Kabam because they used to always say, we can't do that or else it'll ruin the economy of the game. And if the economy of the game changes forever, well, that's going to be so bad. That's why we have to make sure that even champs like Quicksilver and especially champs like Carnage and even I'll never forget when Kabam Broccoli said that his favorite champ of all time, Ebony Maw, which turned into Ebony Coleslaw, they can't be released as too high of champs. They can't be as OP as when they were created, or else it'll break the economy of the game. When Kabam says break the economy of the game, they mean it'll cost them money. And if it costs them money, then it doesn't make them money. If it doesn't make them money, then their investors aren't going to be happy. They might have to lay off employees, and it's a domino effect. If you ruin the economy of the game, you ruin the economy of Kabam and their ability to create more games, more champions, hire on the staff, pay the staff they have, etc. So we have this really interesting issue that I've talked for years about on this channel, and that is that several players that I've talked to over the years behind the scenes get stuck and give up because they can't get past the boss. Now, there are certainly still events that they'll spend on. And I've met Thronebreaker eligible players who have multiple rank 4 6 stars but cannot get past that final boss to become Thronebreaker. They just can't get past that Act 6 Chapter 4 boss. Well, now if you have 5 rank 4 6 stars, you don't have to. I do appreciate that this only goes up to Thronebreaker, and this does not include Paragon or Valiant, as those current conditions should remain in place. But keep in mind that this does give players eventually that are struggling in years to come, when there are far more progressions past Paragon and Valiant, and you better believe there will be, a chance to have an alternative or new condition, which essentially rewards spenders who don't want to clear hard content or don't have 10,000 units to stumble their way through Necropolis like I did. In this case, spending is rewarded, and boss fights can be up to Thronebreaker worked around. You can make it to where everybody stops at Act 6, Chapter 4 to become Thronebreaker, but here's the genius of it. You can't really stop there and think that you can't clear content, because if you become Paragon or Valiant, you still got to get to Act 7 and to Act 8. And maybe it's different, but at least in the past, you couldn't just start in Act 5. You had to work your way through it. So it's not like you can just skip Act 6 and go to Act 7. Now, if that is wrong and I'm wrong, I apologize. But when I started playing the game, you have to start at Act 1 and clear your way through, just like any other content. And I would imagine that's still the case. But you can become Thronebreaker temporarily before completing Act 6, Chapter 4 with 5 rank 4 6 stars. Cavalier, you can get 5 rank 3 6 stars. Some people watching this, the fascinating thing is they already have much more than this requirement. So the people who are Cavalier who are struggling to become Thronebreaker, when this kicks in, you're just going to be Thronebreaker. You're probably going to have a in-game inbox message that you claim, and the title happens, and suddenly your daily crystals get better, your 4-hour crystals, your calendar rewards, everything just gets better. Now, of course, the biggest pushback to this is, well, this is way easier than it was for us years ago, so this is unfair. And Kabam Jax made a note to say that we're the best community when everybody supports each other. And I actually do think that that is generally what I agree with. I also think, though, that if you're annoyed that it's easier for these players, I get that too. I don't think that you should automatically say, well, that's not right, you shouldn't be annoyed, because it is easier than it was before. But here's the counterpoint. One, if players stop progressing, they stop spending. So Kabam obviously wants to keep their cash flowing. And these new goals can be reached on whale holidays. Let's say that you have 4 rank 4 6 stars, but you know if you spend $100 on July 4th sales, you'll be able to get a 5th rank 4 6 star. That is all the motivation that player needs to spend, and you would not have that motivation before without this milestone. So this is going to give more middle tier, the middle class of MCOC, which is often the healthiest and the biggest part of MCOC, through. What this also does is give Kabam more of a reason to tell investors, hey, we're going to keep players playing longer. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is coming out the same time that the homecoming, the return to the game, if you have alt accounts or old accounts you haven't logged into in months, do it now because there's an event going on that gives the top progression that haven't logged in. It's either Thronebreaker or certainly Paragon, a free 7-star after 15 days of just logging in, and a special solo objective events and everything else that I covered on the channel when the information was sent over. Shout out to everybody who sent that over to the channel so I could report on it. I think this is a good thing overall. If you disagree, I respect that. But I also think people who are annoyed that it's easier and rewards spenders have a right to be annoyed. Two things can be true at the same time. I tell that to my students all the time. So the economy of the game has officially changed forever. This is huge news for everybody up to Thronebreaker. Once you get to Thronebreaker, at least right now for the moment, Paragon and especially Valiant still are crazy difficult to get. And that should be the case because those titles are very rewarding with crazy good rewards, particularly Valiant rewards, once you get there.